In this lesson, we're going to be creating the project for our trivia game, as well as getting a brief introduction into the UI system in Unity. So let's go ahead, open up Unity, and then we're going to go to New Project, click on that. We're going to call it Trivia Game. And we're going to set it to be a 2D project, because our trivia game is going to be all in 2D, so this will set up some settings to be easier for us to work with. So go ahead and do that, create project. And let that go ahead and make the project. Give it a second. Now it's loaded. We got this here. Very nice. Now let's go ahead and we can either go up to Game Object right here, this menu, and then UI, and then create a canvas this way, or we can right click in here and go UI and create a canvas. Let's just do it like this. It's fine. Now a canvas is basically just an object we're going to use to put all of our UI on. So it's just going to basically work like what you'd imagine a canvas would work like, sort of a workspace for you to put all your stuff on. Now I'm just panning around in here with the Control-Alt, left-click and drag, and zooming in and out with, of course, the scroll wheel. So I can see my entire canvas now. So now that we have this, what we can do is start adding on UI elements to it. So one way I can do that is just, go to Game Object, UI, and I'm going to create a panel. So click on Panel. Okay, so this panel is now filling up the entire screen, and the panel is just this space. It's like sort of like an area we can apply an image to. Right now it has this default background image, and we can nest more UI elements in it and use it for more organizational things, and that's sort of what we're going to do. I want to go ahead and adjust the shape of this. Now, you can see up here we have our last tool chosen, our Rect Transform tool, and what we can do with this is adjust these 2D elements, and we can see we have these little dots we can click and drag to change the shape like that. Control-Z to undo that. We can click on the side when we get these arrows and adjust it like that. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and start by doing. I'm going to go ahead and make this the banner, so it's going to be just that space right up there. Now, if I press play, what's this going to look like? What do you think? Well, that's interesting. So, looks like it's not keeping that exact perspective. It's not like, it's like it's stretching out down this way. And part of the reason why is that we have over here in our Rect Transform, we have some settings right here. The anchor presets. Now, the anchor presets, we can sort of decide how it's going to be anchored. So right now we have it stretching to fill the space on both the up and down and left and right. Now, there's a lot of presets here. We can say to just stretch horizontally or just stretch vertically. We can tell it to just stay sort of centered, and the size it is, where it is, and let's go ahead and show you what this looks like. So that would be what it would look like. It kept that size and shape. So that's one way we can do it. What I want to do, I'm going to go back to this option where it's stretching both ways. I'm going to make my own sort of rules here. So what I'm going to do is these little triangles in each corner are basically what these are using in order to have it figure out where it should be and what size it should be. So if I just drag, click on this and drag it up, I can tell it, okay, so I want this panel to basically fill this part of the canvas. So I want it to go this percentage down and all the way over, 100% over because it's going from one end to the other end, but only this far down, and it will scale it based on how we change our window. So see, if I do this, see, it's keeping that. So that's going to be how I'm going to do a lot of my UI elements. I'm going to go ahead and press play. And see, now it looks the same. It's sort of kept that that ratio, basically, within the space. It's taking up the correct percentage height and width. So that's how I like to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. Now, let's add some text to our panel. So I'm just going to go ahead And over here, if I just right click on this and I go to UI, go to text, I can create some text. And what's cool is that when I did it like that, it has childed the text object to the panel. So now the text belongs to the panel, and I can show you sort of what this means. Let's go ahead and press play. So see, it's positioned right there in the middle of that, just like that. But if I go ahead and I unchild this, so I'm just going to like click and drag, and I'm going to just drag it up and drag it on top of the canvas. So now it's not nested within the panel. Both these are, of course, nested within the canvas because every UI element we add to the canvas is a child of the canvas. Now if I press play, it's moved. It's also, first off, not where it should be. It should be in front of the panel. So I just dragged it underneath so that it will now be showing up above. That's kind of a funny way of thinking about it, but yeah, that's how it works in the hierarchy, showing up above the panel. But yeah, that's not quite what I want. I want to actually have it be a child of the panel because it'll make it just a little easier to deal with. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on one of these corners. I'm going to click first, and then I'm going to hold an Alt. So first click and move it a little bit, and then press Alt so that you can have it scale uniformly from the center. Actually, if you hold in Shift, you can have it keep its sort of ratio to height to width, but I don't need that. I just want it have sort of it scaling from the center. I'm going to have it be like maybe like that. I'm just setting up the space in which the text is actually going to show up. That's what I'm doing right now. And now over here in the inspector, we have some settings in our text component that we can use to adjust our text. So first off, in the paragraph section, you can see the alignment options. And I just want to go ahead and center it. Right now it's on it's left. So let's go ahead and put it in the center. And let's even center it here. So this is upper, middle, and lower. Let's center it there as well. One other thing I want to do here is I want to go down where it says best fit, and I want to check that checkbox. And now it's going to scale the text depending on how much space it has to be able to have the largest text we can fit in here. So it will scale it between a font size of 10 and a font size of 40. So that looks good. Now let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Looking pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and say I want it to keep this space, this ratio of height and width within this panel. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust our little widgets here, move these over to the corners, just like that. And now they'll just make sure it keeps that. So it looks about the same, but it's just a precautionary step. Now, okay, we got that. So now we have our banner with some text, which we're going to alter via code later to have questions that we can answer. And that's it for this lesson. I will see you in the next one.